It's Tuesday. It's April 11th, 2023. I'm in this. Um, I went for a run um, down by Joe Michael's Mile by the bay down to Fort Totten and then back. When I got down to NYPD camera, I bowed. I took my hat off, I took my sunglasses off, and I bowed. And then I did the same at the 111th precinct NYPD camera this morning. Just now. I um I Lewis came up this morning and he's really upset. And it's just like the way I've always lived my life with the two of them is whatever happened yesterday happened. I just get up and I make it through the day and then I go to sleep. And it's almost like the day dies and whatever happened in the day dies. And I never really think about it much anymore, ever again. And I move on to the next day. And it's just how I've lived my life. Um, there's no real whatever. So, this morning he comes up. He's just real upset. Something happened. And they took him off of YouTube, like permanently, so he says. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, why? What'd you do? What'd you say? He's like, I don't know. So had no idea that what was going on with that. Then he says to me that there's some videos that I had made in my, like, again, my own self-defense of, like, I there's things that were going on in the residence. He's got this friend Lord who's like whatever. He went to Lord's kid's wedding. He's got lots of lawyers and he's got lots of doctors, and they're very, like, I guess Bishop Lawrence like, but he calls himself Lord and he's in with Facebook and Meta and technology. And I'm like, again, that's Lou's bag of stuff. And he gets all sorts of advice, I suppose. Like, I mean, like, that was his business partner for a while, then they weren't business partners. I mean, this isn't what Lewis's business partners looked like when I was young. When I was young and at St. John's, they were a different whatever. And then I don't know how he got sideswiped or whatever in the change. Um, but it's part of this time frame that I have in this Omega with this Alpha thing that the Edge of Tomorrow seems to talk about. Um, just getting like worse. And then he wanted me to go back on um and look at my videos. So I was looking at some of them and I was looking at what I wrote. And what I wrote probably wasn't like the best thing to put out in the universe, but it's just where I was at the moment. So I just changed it to be inside the house, because it was a time where he was calling social workers and having me removed from, I mean, like, I wasn't doing anything, having me removed from the house. Then they threw me out of the house with no money, no anything. I had to sleep outside. I mean, like, he was doing all these like really horrible things to me, and I'm like, where's this all coming from? But yet, like, I mean, whatever. It's so frustrating. So I'm like, where is he getting this advice from? Like, what is going on with him? So anyhow, again, it's like inside the house abuse. Then it's like, I don't know if it's coming from an external source. I don't know if he's under duress of some sort, and that's why he's coming at me. I mean, again, there were so many years that I wasn't even in, like, I was nowhere near Lynn and Lou. Like, my life did not revolve around them. I was trying to figure out and find happily ever after on my own until Blacksmith happened and just again got worse. So, then this morning, so anyhow, so I removed the text. I couldn't remove the videos for some reason. There's no delete feature. So I removed the text and I just wrote inside the house. So this way it's just protected in that thing. But I could see at one point, like, my face was drooping. And I mean, like, and I know I even made mention of it on one of the medical files that, like, my face was drooping. And now I see that it's fixed. But again, I don't know if these are external viruses that are going on. I saw Justin Bieber had something going on. Um, and of course, like, I'm in the heat of the moment, like, so angry at them when I made these videos. So anyhow, so I go back and I looked at them. So I took off the text words because, again, they don't really mean anything. And then I just saved the file that way, see if that works. It didn't take right away. I don't know if it takes 24 hours, whatever. So that happened. But again, like, I don't know, like, he's 1940s. I'm a generation behind, and things have slid into the wrong direction. This morning, they're saying, like, I watched yesterday, The Edge of Tomorrow came on, but just like with 60 Minutes the night before, PGA took over the first 50 minutes. So only 10 minutes were left, which were the most important 10 minutes, which were the James Webb Telescope and the cosmic galaxies and how things are created in, like, the most important spatial relationship with all of humanity in some larger program that I don't know. It, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know who handles that level of knowledge, but I know it exists. And they alert the public and the private that it exists. So, confirmed. But then there's this, like, action-packed, I don't want to say propaganda video, but again, I'm caught in this time loop of, it came out in 2014. I'm sure somebody had to campaign for it. It's one of Tom Cruise's, so of course he's one of the heartthrobs, so nobody ever wants to say anything negative about him. I've heard, like, he's, like, you can't say anything negative, but, like, here we are, and okay. I try not to say anything negative anyway. But so there's that, and then there's I didn't catch the beginning of the movie. I only caught it at the certain part right before they show and disclose what an alpha and the omega is in that particular context, which is really the only time I've ever seen that even brought up in a conversation that I'm not having directly with Tom Cruise, but he's in my mother's bedroom on the television screen because that's where I'm viewing the movie that he made at the time. So he's in the glass on the wall in, like, really important things to say on a video where I don't want people to jump to the wrong conclusions and having to be, like, overprotective of one's free speech. Um, so there's that. And then, so today, I didn't realize that yesterday I didn't see it from all the way in the beginning. So today I went back because I have this thing again, like, the day died yesterday, and now today is a different day. So I'm like, you know what? I can't really remember. Like, I remember certain parts of the movie, but I don't really remember it back to forth. There's a lot of action in it. There's a lot of message in it, and I'm pretty sure that I missed about three-quarters of it the first time through. So I watched it again this morning, but this morning I watched it on demand, realizing I did not catch the whole thing. Reminded myself I didn't catch the whole thing, and then when I saw the beginning of the movie, I was just like, "Oh my goodness!" Um, and then I turned on the BS this morning, which is like the like in the now happening, and they're talking about, as a cross reference, they're talking about, in some like visual imagery blitz that's going on, they're talking about how a five-letter patterned state or country elsewhere is enhancing their aviation capability, and they're using US parts. And I'm like, now why would the USA allow US parts to prop up or to promote more chaos? It just I mean, like, automobiles was one thing with the toxic fumes, and not just, I mean, that was a few manufacturers involved, I suppose, between foreign cars or American cars, or what kind of cars are we talking? Well, again, with carcinogenics and the fuels, but and there only being so much breathable airspace. And how do you escape? Like, I was born here. How do you, like, I mean, and the school didn't help procure employment. There was no other options. And there was no husbandry. I mean, like, there's no RH negative. Like, I don't even know, like, where do you go? It's not even an option on, like, dating sites. I mean, where do you go to find RH negative eligible men? I mean, like, now it's late in the game, but I mean, even early on. So, um, even in like a self help kind of a way. So, I don't know. So, it just now this morning, I see this thing about the aviation, and it's had flags, and it had the US on it, saying that the US is supplying parts, and they have this unveiling, and they're doing this like big airspace program. And I'm like, um I mean, are these things that should be concerning? I mean, I there's only so much I can deal with in a lifetime, honestly. And at this point, I'd really like to get away from all of like the breathable poisons that are just like, I mean, it I did how do you get away from this? Um I don't know. It's just, how do you document the for the, I guess, health minister, or the health whatever we have, without looking or sounding crazy, but you're stuck in a series of rooms with strange, like, I mean, they're technically your family, but it's whatever. And now, like, health is being attacked on a daily basis. Nothing really that is in an avoidable space. And there's been misled and misrouting from very early on. Um, I just, I just don't, I'm just at such a loss. But I know that wherever they have that equipment that looks at and analyzes points of light as data, that's where they create the reports and the data and the following things and the, like, I guess at an erudite level of checking and following trends and then doing strategy. I mean, I spoke to strategy something once upon a time. Armstrong led me down that route, but then nothing ever came of it. They asked me to fax over. Well, no, I got a phone call from somebody who was yelling at me saying that I didn't fax over a resume, but I was never asked to fax over a resume. So that was confusing. I'm like, why is he yelling? I said, I know you're upset. I said, I can hear that. I said, but I apologize. I don't know who you are. I was like, and we did not have a conversation. You did not ask me to fax anything. I don't even know who you are. Um, so again, I don't know if they were playing around with the phone lines in somebody else's area, but that was confusing. And then it's just like the I guess the time with them just stopped, and then I just nothing ever happened. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. So I took some of the text out because I mean the readable stuff is not really that important. Um, and then like Headspace and like Divine Crime, Divine Inspiration, and whatever was just in this like robotic way. Um, Advanced robotics and mechanics. And then that falls into like this Harry Potter realm in the Potter's field of to compel somebody with a spell and like a hex and things that people don't even believe in. But again, the ones that persecute, like the ones that go after the tech firms that interfere with a human biology or a human ability to perform like a natural human, um that level of crime fighting. Again, I don't know what they call themselves, and I don't know how to get a message through to that level. um so anyhow, so it's, I was going through these videos of like things that I'm already over. I mean, I don't hold I don't hold a grudge against Lewis. Um, Again, we're in these tight quarters together. This can't be easy for him. I mean, empathetic I am, but not to the point where it's, the day that he slammed me on the floor for no reason. And I mean, my dad doesn't, and like that's the other thing, my dad doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and he doesn't do drugs. So what just sparked this sudden change in behavior and him coming at me? I don't know. Um, it's not the first time. It's rare, but it's not the first time. And then, I mean, I don't want to file a police report and have him have a record, although that's what some of the other members of the house did to me. I mean, they had me carted off in an ambulance, and then I was like under attack from the emergency service professionals, like couldn't even escape, asked for a lawyer, like they wouldn't even offer me a lawyer. um I was like, I didn't come here of my own free will, and then I'm not on anything, and I don't want to be treated by any of you. I want to just be released and go on my way, and they wouldn't. um and that was at Northwell, and there was a uniformed officer in the ambulance before I got there for I don't know what reason. Um, so it's like all these really disgusting things that he's done to me. And I don't know who is in his ear, and I don't know who he's listening to, but it is abuse of a child on a whole nother level. Um, but again, I don't know if he's under duress or not by this Dark Lord or whatever's going on in USA territory with, I mean, they've attacked his businesses and his only source of income before. And now it seems like they're doing it again. I mean, several rounds of funding he could have had as when I was a child. Um, and they attacked that. From what angle, I don't know. Um, but it's really concerning considering that, like, he always followed the rules of what was asked of him, um, and in raising me, um, as did I. I mean, not many rules were given when in my day to day anything. In fact, no rules were really given. Just waiting for whatever. So anyhow, so I watched the videos back. I just looked real briefly. Saw my face sagging, and just knowing that there's environmental factors at play, there's biological factors at play, and then just knowing that there's some kind of interactive feature. I mean, I don't believe everything that I see on the news, and I don't believe everything that I see on the TV, but as a guideline in a kind of sort of but not really way, it does raise some flags that tend to concern me, I suppose. But where to direct that conversation, I'm not really clear. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Catteroset's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way Universe, Galaxies Broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.